Some footage doesn't need an explanation to feel wrong. Tonight, you'll see a collection of unsettling recordings that have left viewers searching for answers. Strange encounters, unexplained events, moments that shouldn't have happened. If you're into dark horror and unexplained mysteries, consider subscribing. Our goal is to reach 1,000 subscribers, and every subscription helps. Now, let's begin. What if the places built to save lives are the ones keeping something else trapped inside? According to the source, this footage was captured on a quiet night shift at an undisclosed medical facility. A hospital worker, tasked with checking the premises, felt an overwhelming sense of dread the moment he stepped off the elevator. He claims the 5th floor always felt different, heavy, unwelcoming. Let's watch the footage.
This floor makes me feel uneasy all the time. I never feel good up here. So you see, nobody's back there. It's just me. I could have sworn I heard something. I'm entirely sure. What the? Now, y'all heard that. I'm gonna show you. So, look, when you move the handle, that handle doesn't move. This handle, it locks, okay? So, that is opening. That sound came from inside there, and I immediately opened the door. You need to use your key card in order to get in. Oh boy.
The footage shows a completely abandoned hospital wing. The lights are dimmed, creating long shadows across the empty patient beds and polished floors. At first, everything appears normal. It's the standard, quiet environment you'd expect during a late-night shift. But as the worker moves down the hall, a subtle disturbance breaks the silence. A violent rattling echoes down the corridor. It's coming from behind a heavy locked door to a supply room. The handle shakes aggressively, as if someone or something is desperately trying to break out. The worker approaches, his breathing growing rapid. He uses his keycard, opens the door, and steps inside. The room is completely empty. The worker exits and shuts the door behind him. He moves the handle from the outside, showing that it does not budge without a card. It's securely locked. He explains to the camera that the mechanism is completely intact. Then, what happened next was truly terrifying. As he stands outside the locked door explaining the situation, the handle begins to shake violently once again right in front of him. The door slams and rattles against its frame with intense force, as if a frantic presence is trapped just inches away on the other side. The worker, visibly shaken, quickly backs down the hallway as the aggressive rattling continues to echo through the empty corridor. The man claims that there was absolutely no one else on that floor, and the room requires high security access to enter. So what do you think really happened on the 5th floor? Some things are never meant to be seen. But when the camera is rolling, the truth, no matter how terrifying, is captured forever. According to the source, this footage was captured late at night on a remote, unlit construction ridge. A security guard was conducting his usual rounds when he noticed something unusual on the perimeter feed. He pulled out his phone to record the monitor. Let's watch the footage. At first, the footage shows nothing out of the ordinary, just an empty, rocky ditch blanketed by the pitch-black night. A completely normal, silent night. But then, a subtle disturbance. Deep in the shadows of the background, a figure appears. It is a figure dressed in a deep red robe, standing completely frozen against the dirt wall. The tension slowly begins to build as the camera zooms in. Look closely. The figure isn't just standing there. The figure has glowing blood-red eyes that pierce straight through the darkness. The security guard approaches the edge, his breathing turning heavy. Suddenly, an unsettling, high-pitched wailing sound echoes through the night. It sounds like a child, or perhaps something mimicking one. The sound is agonizing. The sound does not stop. What happened next was truly terrifying. As the camera tries to focus, the red-eyed figure begins to defy reality. Without moving its limbs, it starts to float. It slowly, smoothly glides vertically up the steep, rocky cliffside. It moves with an unnatural ease, ascending higher and higher into the darkness, its glowing eyes fixed directly at the camera. The man claims he was completely paralyzed with fear. Panic sets in, and you can hear the sheer terror in his heavy breathing as he struggles to keep the camera steady. The guard posted the video online the very next day, claiming that there are no paths or ledges where that figure was floating. He refuses to return to the ridge at night. An eerie figure in red, an unexplained ascent into the dead of night. So, what do you think really happened? What would you do if your security camera caught something that defied the laws of nature? According to the source, this video was captured on a quiet night in a suburban backyard. The homeowner had recently installed a motion-activated camera after hearing strange noises near his patio. At first, everything seemed entirely peaceful. The yard was still. The patio furniture sat unmoved. It felt like a completely normal, safe night. Then, the sensor triggered. The homeowner claims he looked at his live feed and saw a humanoid figure standing in the pitch black. But it wasn't a normal intruder. The footage shows a shape that seems to shift and ripple against the darkness, appearing partially transparent. Let's watch the footage.
Oh my God, there it is, Mike. It came back. Oh my gosh.
I command you to go in Jesus' name.
This thing is looking weird. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It knows something's going on, man. This thing is, oh my gosh.
As the man records the screen, the tension rises. The figure stands perfectly still near the edge of the lawn, just beyond the patio table. You can hear the pure terror in the man's voice. He mutters to himself, completely shaken, saying, "It came back. This thing is looking weird." In the background, someone can even be heard frantically praying, trying to command whatever it is to leave. What happened next was truly terrifying. The entity slowly begins to move, its body unnaturally distorting as if it doesn't fully belong in our reality. It seems to notice it is being watched. Suddenly, with a bizarre, fluid motion, it fades backward directly into the solid darkness, completely vanishing from sight. The sheer panic from the residents is palpable. They knew they weren't dealing with a normal trespasser. The man who posted the video remains deeply disturbed, claiming that the camera never picked up a physical person entering or leaving the gated yard, only this shifting anomaly. So, what do you think really happened? Sometimes, a simple walk down a familiar street can turn into a nightmare you can never escape. What you are about to see is not from a Hollywood movie. It is a real, unexplained recording that has left experts completely baffled. According to the source, the footage was captured late at night on a quiet suburban sidewalk. The video was uploaded by a resident who noticed something deeply unsettling right outside their home. Let's watch the footage. The footage shows a completely normal street. It is dark, quiet, and peaceful. The houses are decorated with standard holiday lights. Nothing seems out of the ordinary. It feels safe. It feels normal. But then, the camera pans. Standing under the dim glow of the streetlights is a woman. She isn't moving, she's just standing there, completely still, on the grass by the sidewalk. As the camera moves closer, the details become deeply unsettling. The woman is wearing a dark winter coat, her arms crossed tightly. But look closely at her face. Her eyes are wide, completely unblinking. Her smile is fixed, stretched unnaturally wide, frozen in place. She doesn't speak, she doesn't react, she just stares directly into the lens. What happened next was truly terrifying. The camera begins to circle her. As the person filming moves completely around her, the woman's body remains locked in place, but her gaze never breaks. She tracks the camera with a cold, hollow stare. Her expression does not change. It is a look of pure, unadulterated malice. The man filming claims that an overwhelming sense of dread washed over him. He felt an icy chill in the air. The person who posted the video explained that the woman stood there perfectly frozen for several minutes before vanishing into the darkness without a sound. Who was she? And what was she waiting for? The footage remains unexplained, leaving a lingering sense of dread for anyone who watches it. So what do you think really happened? Some things are never meant to be found, but when a routine nighttime walk turns into a brush with the unexplained, the camera captures everything. On a pitch-black night, deep within an isolated forest, a man decided to record his surroundings. According to the source, the area had been plagued by bizarre, unsettling noises for weeks. Armed with only a flashlight and his phone, he stepped into the tree line to investigate. Let's watch the footage. At first, the footage shows nothing out of the ordinary, just the rhythmic beam of a flashlight cutting through the dense, dark woods. The man claims the air felt unusually still, almost oppressive. Then, the silence breaks. A guttural, low groan echoes through the trees. The flashlight beam begins to shake. The man pushes deeper, tracking the sound. He sweeps the light across the forest floor. Nothing. He looks up. What happened next was truly terrifying. Perched high in the branches, a pale, contorted figure comes into focus. It doesn't look human. Its limbs are bent at impossible angles, illuminated perfectly by the flashlight beam. It sits completely still, staring back down at him. Panicked, the man dropped his camera before sprinting back towards safety. In the original upload, he explains that he left the woods immediately and refuses to ever return to those coordinates after dark. While some viewers suggest it could be a highly elaborate hoax or an unusually deformed animal caught in a strange position, the raw terror in the audio is incredibly difficult to fake. So what do you think really happened? Some things are better left in the dark. What you are about to see is a piece of footage that has left investigators, internet sleuths, and ordinary viewers deeply unsettled. It was recorded late at night on November 14th in an abandoned, decaying complex on the outskirts of an isolated town. A local urban explorer who uploaded the video under a pseudonym to protect his identity decided to investigate.
Bismillah! Bismillah! الله لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم لا تأخذه سنة ولا نوم له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله لا 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 إله إلا الله.
Series of strange noises rumored to be coming from the facility. At first, everything seemed normal. The explorer was simply walking down a dusty, littered hallway, the beam of his flashlight cutting through the heavy darkness. He was looking for standard signs of trespassing, maybe graffiti or broken glass. But then, a subtle disturbance broke the silence. As his flashlight swept across a pile of debris, the beam caught a silhouette, a strange, pale shape sitting in the middle of the corridor. It didn't move. It didn't make a sound. According to the source, the air in the room suddenly grew freezing cold. He slowly approached, trying to make sense of what he was seeing. With every step, the details became clearer and the tension began to mount. It looked like an animal, but its proportions were entirely wrong. The texture of its skin was unnatural, almost like hardened clay or molded plastic fused directly into a block of concrete on the floor. It sat perfectly still, frozen in a bizarre, twisted posture. The explorer began reciting prayers, his voice trembling with a mixture of awe and absolute dread. He stepped closer, nudging the object with his foot, trying to prove to himself that it was nothing more than a discarded prop or a bizarre statue. What happened next was truly terrifying. The camera quickly pans away, and when it returns, the creature is in a completely different position. Its neck is unnaturally elongated, stretched out horizontally as if reaching toward him. The sudden, impossible shift happens in total silence, defying logic. Panicked and hyperventilating, the man flees the room, his breathing heavy as he sprints down the dark hallway, desperate to escape whatever was waiting for him in that corridor. The man claims that he did not manipulate the video in any way, and that the sheer terror he felt in that moment was completely real. He refuses. There are some things the human mind is simply not prepared to see. On a quiet afternoon, deep within an isolated woodland, a local explorer decided to history. Instead, he found a nightmare. Let's watch the footage.
Еще солнце не зашло, а как-то мрачно, очень мрачно. Еще и в колодце что-то шипит. Может, ужик.
The footage shows a seemingly normal, serene forest. The sun is setting, casting long, peaceful shadows through the branches. The explorer approaches an old, abandoned concrete structure hidden in the overgrowth. According to the source, this structure was an ancient, long-forgotten water well. At first, everything seems completely ordinary, just an old piece of history reclaimed by nature, a false sense of safety. But as the man draws closer, the atmosphere shifts. The man claims that as he stood over the edge, the birds suddenly went dead silent. The peaceful sounds of the forest vanished. In their place, a low, unsettling noise began to echo from the darkness. A hissing sound. Listen closely. It doesn't sound like wind. It doesn't sound like an animal. It sounds deliberate. The tension thickens as the explorer lowers his camera, aiming the lens directly into the pitch-black void of the old well. He looks closer. We look closer. Slowly, something begins to take shape in the darkness. What happened next was truly terrifying. Staring back from the depths of the earth are two glowing, unblinking blue eyes, a face completely devoid of humanity watching him from the dark. It isn't hiding, it is waiting. The explorer panicked, dropping back in absolute horror before sprinting away from the well. He refused to ever return to those woods. When he posted the video online, he stated he had no explanation for what he witnessed. He firmly believes that whatever is living down in that well has been there for a very long time. The footage remains unexplained, leaving a chilling ambiguity that lingers long after the video ends. So, what do you think really happened? Imagine checking your security feed, expecting to see an empty, abandoned building, but instead you see the doors moving completely on their own. According to the source, this footage was recorded on the night of October 14th in an abandoned wellness facility located in a remote part of the region. The video was uploaded online by an urban explorer who went inside to investigate local rumors of unexplained activity.
بسم الله بسم الله أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق لا إله إلا الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بسم الله بسم الله لا إله إلا الله أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق لا إله إلا الله لا 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 إله إلا الله بسم الله لا 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 بسم الله بسم الله أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق لا إله إلا الله.
Initially, the footage shows a completely normal, quiet scene. The explorer shines his flashlight across a debris-strewn floor next to an old, drained indoor pool. Everything is silent. The air is perfectly still, and there is no sign of anyone else in the building. It feels empty, cold, and entirely safe. But then, a subtle disturbance breaks the silence. A heavy wooden door at the end of the hall begins to slowly unlatch. The explorer stops in his tracks. He starts repeating prayers aloud, trying to calm his nerves as the tension builds. Slowly, the situation escalates. The door begins to move back and forth with deliberate force, as if someone is standing right behind it. The explorer moves closer, pointing his flashlight directly at the wood. The knocks grow faster, the movement becomes more erratic. What happened next was truly terrifying. Without warning, the heavy door violently slams wide open on its own. It is thrown backward with incredible force, crashing against the wall. The explorer panics, turning his camera wildly around the dark, empty pool room, realizing that whatever is moving the doors is completely invisible. Let's watch the footage. The man claims that the sheer force of the slam shook the floor beneath his feet. In the description of his original video, he explained that there was absolutely no wind or draft inside the facility that night. He insists that the heavy handles were stiff and required manual pressure to turn, making it impossible for gravity to be the cause. So, what do you think really happened? What you are about to see defies logical explanation. It is a sequence of events so unsettling it will make you question the safety of your own home. On a seemingly regular afternoon, a resident living in an apartment building originally constructed in 1932 began experiencing something extraordinary. The entire ordeal was captured on his phone camera, documenting a series of disturbances that escalated from a minor annoyance into absolute terror. At first, the apartment appears completely normal, but according to the source, a rhythmic, violent banging began echoing through the living room. The footage shows the man approaching his apartment door. The sound is loud, deliberate, and relentless, as if someone is aggressively pounding on the other side. The man claims that this wasn't an isolated incident. Let's watch the footage.
Jesus. I mean, this is my whole closet right here. This is my kitchen. And here we go with this shit again. We're just gonna wait and see how long it goes. It's never not. Stop! Okay, that works. Okay, so it seems to be wanting to happen now more in the afternoon, but just to prove that there's nothing there. Jesus Christ. This is the cord in question, the coax cable, and you can see here it goes directly from here down to my Wi-Fi. So I could, I guess, open it like this, but one, I would probably be in the way of the camera here since I'm standing here, but let's try and test this. Here's the door latched all the way shut. I mean, I'm pulling on that pretty hard and it doesn't come out. But if I were to do this and open it, that just kind of pulls the Wi-Fi back. So, I mean, if this cord was the thing that was pulling it, this probably would have knocked off. But, I don't know. Yes, absolutely we can, because I think everyone is obsessed with this and the fact that I do not have it secured. But as you can see, this goes to my modem, and that is all. It's an old building, so in front of every apartment, they've had to drill holes and then feed these in through, you know, all this to kind of update it. But this building was built in 1932, and if you can't tell, hasn't really been updated too much since 1932. Oh. You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Tension slowly builds as the disturbances refuse to stop. Every time the resident opens the door to confront the source, the hallway is dead silent. There are no footsteps running away, no signs of a prankster, just an empty corridor. What happened next was truly terrifying. During a subsequent bout of violent pounding, the force of the vibrations becomes so intense that a wooden crucifix securely mounted on the wall adjacent to the door is violently shaken loose. The footage shows the crucifix falling directly onto the living room rug. The resident's reaction shifts instantly from frustration to nervous shock. Picking up the fallen object, he can only laugh in disbelief, completely overwhelmed by the bizarre nature of the event. The man claims that the building has barely been updated since 1932, suggesting the old infrastructure might have something to do with it. Could a bizarre pressure differential or shifting pipes in an old building cause a door to shake with such rhythmic, violent force? Perhaps, but it doesn't quite explain the sheer intensity of the pounding or why it seemed to react directly to his presence. The event remains entirely unexplained. So, what do you think really happened?